fine.
It's funny then.
It's true. It is true. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Movie Rubric. I am Timothy McDaniel.
Cole Wright.
And I'm Josh Glass.
And this week's episode, we are going to be discussing Disney's newest remake, The Haunted Mansion. So, first off, has everyone seen... I think we all watched it at our movie night, right?
The original Haunted Mansion.
For the original Haunted Mansion, before we start talking about the new one, what were your thoughts on that movie? Because we talked about it a little bit in the car, but I want to go into more detail about it now before we start talking about the remake.
As a kid, I really enjoyed the movie. Rewatching it as an adult, I can see where it's cheesy, but I still had a good time watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the same thing. I kind of hate on it now, but I mean, overall, it is what it is. It's a goofy live action Disney movie.
It's a goofy kids movie.
It's aware of what it is, so it's not like it's trying to be scary.
Yeah, I liked it a lot more when we rewatched it for our movie night group than I thought I would. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
One of those movies where I personally would never watch it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If it was in a group, I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's
Yeah, I agree with that. My follow-up question, as I was trying to think of things, to preface before we start talking spoilers, has everyone here ridden the ride at Disney?
Yeah.
Yep.
And as silly as this may sound, like, do you guys enjoy that type of ride? Because I did not like the Haunted Mansion ride at Disney. I thought it was very lame, quite personally.
I haven't been in like 10 years, so I can't.
I just went a year
I
and a half
don't
ago.
Yeah, we went a couple of years ago. We rode it, and the ride itself wasn't bad. I hadn't ridden it before then. But our ride just kept stopping.
Ours did too.
It was just like
regularly.
You would sit at one spot for like 2 or 3 minutes over and over and over again.
So it's almost like the pacing was really bad.
The pacing of the ride was
maybe we're
set
giving the
tone
movie
for the
Listen,
movie.
I've been sitting on that Segway for a week now. I was sitting here thinking about how to relate it to the ride, and I was writing down all my thoughts on the ride and all my thoughts on this new movie, and I wrote that down. It's like it started and stopped. It just constantly, just like it'd get hung up, and then it'd speed through the next room. You couldn't even. I was like, oh my gosh,
The movie.
it's the movie.
They know what they're doing.
What if it was okay? So before we get to spoilers, I'm so glad you said that.
Yep.
Because you walked right into
I
it.
did.
So no, another thing that I thought about the ride before we move on past that, it is shockingly morbid, and I felt that way about the old Haunted Mansion and a little bit about this one too. It doesn't shy away from the fact that like people die,
Yeah.
and like have the ability to die in this movie.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think in the old one anyone dies, but like there was regular points where they were in near-death experiences.
Yeah.
The ride,
I mean, the first movie, like, they're trying to convince the mother to commit suicide, basically,
Yes.
to save her kids. So
yeah, it's really
very dark.
And to that point, I noticed something that I never noticed as a kid, but I feel like the ride at Disney doesn't fit into Disney's vibe.
Yeah.
Because the room where you're waiting, where like the ceiling is growing and you're sinking down into the floor, mentions how you're trapped and there's only one way out. And then it flashes and there's someone hanging. They've hung themselves from the rafters in the ceiling. And I remember watching this dead corpse swinging above me at Disney World. And I'm like, I'm at Disney. Did they just say suicide was the only way out?
Yeah.
And it was really weird.
Gotta
And
make it spooky somehow.
gotta
Yeah.
make it spooky. And
I
on
mean,
that,
the 999 ghosts don't do it for you.
No, because okay, I'm gonna get into the ghosts. I'll get into the ghosts. My issues with the ghosts later.
so stupid. But yeah, no, but those two things, the pacing and just like how much I don't think this really fits Disney's vibe, and maybe they shouldn't get so hung up on this and should pivot, were kind of my prevailing thoughts as I was thinking about this movie.
Yeah.
So my only other thing I really want to say before we really get into it is like, Josh told me this movie was going to be good.
I did
Okay,
not.
he did not.
He did.
Did you
He-
look back in the message?
He said, my brother said, it's the best movie I've ever seen. I swear, you have to watch it. It's incredible. 10 out of 10.
Also,
I
you got to know, for those who
did
don't know
not.
Tyler, he tends to exaggerate a little
Never. I've never exaggerated in my life.
bit. Exaggerate to make a point.
It wasn't just your brother. I had heard from other people and some online reviews that this movie was pretty good. So after
I
watching,
didn't think his brother said it was good. It was just,
He said it was decent.
yeah, that's not.
said it was decent.
That's not
But
good.
like, and that's what I said. Not just your brother. Online, the vibe was, and from other people, not just your brother, I heard it was pretty good. And then after watching the trailer and seeing the super stacked cast, I expected this movie to be
Yeah.
great.
I did too.
which leads me into the non-spoiler review of it, thumbs up or thumbs down. For the first time, I think since we've started this podcast, I am going to give The Haunted Mansion, you shouldn't go see it, 2 thumbs down. I'm going to say skip it. I wouldn't even recommend watching it on streaming unless you just want something bad to watch. What are your guys' thoughts on it?
I would say wait to stream if you I wouldn't go on my way to get a Disney Plus subscription for it, obviously. If you want to have some friends over and watch a movie that's so bad it's kind of funny, go right ahead.
Kinda.
It's not even like to the point where it's like so bad that it's good, because I can't even give it that.
And that's what
It's
I was
not
going
like
to say.
The Room territory.
I was going to say, I like bad movies that we can sit around, have a drink, and laugh at because they're bad. But I felt like this one was just not good. It wasn't funny enough to laugh at. I just didn't enjoy my time with this movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have Disney Plus, you need something to fall asleep to. Yeah. I honestly, though, I would say, gosh, how long was it? An hour and a half, 2 hours?
2 hours.
It
2 hours and 3 minutes.
Did not need to be 2 hours. That is for certain.
Wow.
It's 2 hours of your life. Cole, you made that joke as we were leaving the theater. I like long movies. I like long movies that purposefully do stuff with that 2 hour, 3 hour runtime.
Yeah.
I want it to be progressing some sort of plot.
So you'd say Haunted Mansion, Avatar: Way of Water are in the same category then?
No, because Avatar: Way of the Water actually does something with
Do
its,
they?
its scenes.
I'm not going to let it go. It's
You
going to be a
are
running
going to let
thing.
go. That's all right.
Anyway.
Let me say this. I enjoyed looking at all the atmospheric, pretty, good, amazing CGI.
Every
Avatar?
every review is going to be an Avatar review. from
It's
here on
true.
out.
But Haunted Mansion, the CGI was not good.
No.
And the filler scenes were just that. They were filler and they didn't need to be as long as they needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You could have cut out a third of this movie and it would have made it significantly better.
Yeah.
So I don't know
So
why they didn't just settle to go for the minimum requirement for it to be a theatrical release.
is there a minimum
I think
requirement?
it's like an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes.
I didn't even realize there was a minimum requirement.
I didn't
Yeah.
either.
I thought you just had to pay to put it
Well,
up.
I think that's why some people are like, they don't want to make, if it's any less, has to be released like a direct to DVD because theaters won't accept it.
Is that a thing? I've never heard of that.
I don't know.
At the end of this episode, remind us. We're going to Google that.
Yeah,
'cause I'm curious
That's
on
something
that.
I heard.
Yeah, I want to Google that. Josh, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm a thumbs down.
Thumbs down all
I
the way.
wouldn't waste my time going to watch it. And it looks like not a lot of people did. So on the box office on IMDb, it was budgeted $150 million.
That's what they paid
Hold
for.
up.
Yeah.
This movie cost $150. Is that before or after It had to be after
It's
marketing.
just estimated budget was $150 million.
Okay.
DeVito was
It
what,
has worldwide
140 of it?
grossed $87 million. They have lost money.
Jeez. I mean, I know Disney loses money every now and then. I wonder how often. I would
Yeah.
be interested in like looking at like the last 30 Disney releases and seeing how many of them have lost money like that.
Yeah.
Because I saw
It's
that
pretty bad.
Elementals in the global market made its money back and has profited.
Has it?
It's like it's come back. It's not like huge, but I read an article that like it has made a comeback. Elementals has made the money on paper. So like, you know, even Elementals didn't lose the money.
Yeah. Well,
It
I
is
don't
what
know.
it, so we're going to talk about the movie now. Spoilers, unless you guys have anything else you want to say. Like
I got nothing.
Nope.
nothing. All right. Like I said, spoiler wise, I thought the story was very bad. I thought the whole thing of like the headless guy was cheesy, cliche, very easy
Just
to follow.
like the ride.
Just like the ride. You know what? You're on rails the whole time. Yeah, like, you know, it might as well be. Like, they're not even allowed to explore the mansion. They just
Yeah.
get like railroaded throughout it. But
yeah, this mansion was huge, and we saw like
3 rooms?
Three
rooms.
hallways.
4?
yeah.
The same hallway multiple times, one room over and over again, and then the attic. I think that's it.
Yeah.
We saw more of the other mansion they went to.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really
It was haunted mansions.
You really, yeah. I was almost led to believe from the trailers. I actually watched a trailer for this one. I think we watched it at your house. There was something in one of the trailers that made me think that they were actually going to go to the Disney ride for some reason. I don't know why I thought that.
But a better movie.
It might have been a better movie, yeah. Maybe my biggest gripe with this movie, aside from the pacing, was I thought that all of the actors who I've seen act well felt like they were phoning it in. Like it was bad, with the exception of one. I thought there was one actor who actually, against all odds, I thought did a decent job.
Was it the kid?
It was the kid.
I was gonna say the same thing. He's like the
It was-
only character and actor I felt connected with in the whole movie.
He did a good job,
He
that
did.
kid. And that brings me to my first question. You guys may have your own in your notes. Cole, as someone who notoriously hates children on this podcast, every movie we watch, you hate the kids in it. What'd you think of the kid in this movie? Because I thought he was the best actor in this film.
I mean, that's a low bar. I mean, that's
It's low hanging
Like-
fruit, but yeah.
you could have thrown anyone in that role, any kid actor, and they probably would have been the best performance in this.
yeah.
He was fine.
I thought he did a
I
good
thought
job.
he did a really good job.
I'm like, I didn't hate his performance because everyone else's performance was so terrible. Like, he
Yeah.
didn't stick out. Like,
I think if
I mean, he's probably. I mean, you're probably right. It's the best performance from, especially when you have the stat cast. There's no reason. There's no excuse for the other ones not to put on at least a decent performance.
yeah.
They're just collecting a paycheck. Is what they're,
you're
They
not
got-
wrong.
They saw Disney and was like, "Ooh, money."
Money.
like. I don't have to. I have to put forth minimal effort.
Yeah. And I'm
Maybe
gonna get
no
paid.
effort at all.
I
Heck
think
yeah.
even the scenes where the kid was on his own, if the rest of the actors had been good actors, I think this kid was great. Like, in all honesty, that first couple scenes where he's kind of by himself in the bedroom, some of his lines I genuinely laughed at. His facial
His
expressions, the way
yeah.
it was really good. And I love maybe my favorite line in the movie happened in the opening 3 minutes, and the mom was like, "Listen, this place isn't haunted. I'm gonna light a vanilla bean candle, and it's gonna change the whole mood." And he goes, "Will it though?" And just like the way he delivered that line in his face, it was the funniest
It
line
was
in the
so
movie.
That
Yeah.
may have been the peak. It peaked in 3 minutes.
I think
Yeah.
it did because I laughed heavily at that line. I was like, "That's funny."
For the
And
next
then
hour and 57 minutes.
Not
Crickets.
Great.
I rarely sit in a theater and check my phone to see how much long is left on this thing. I
Yeah.
can't remember the last time. I went and saw Avatar 3 times.
Wow.
And I not once did I be like, dang, how much movie is left? Can we wrap this up? And I know we all have you guys have your individual gripes with that, but this one, it drug on.
It did.
On.
I will say, going back to the kid, he probably had my favorite. The best acted scene was there towards the end when Ben is trying to get him to not
Yeah.
go towards the guy, and he's like, "Nothing feels right since my
Mhm.
dad's not here." I actually got a little teary eyed in that.
That
scene.
was good.
It was really emotional,
And you
it
know
was
what?
just a kid.
And you know what stinks? And it made me so mad because you're right. I thought that too. That kid was doing such a good performance, and then he's being sided by 2 other actors. One of them is the voice, and the voice is just generic, deep effects voice. So it's like, "Come to me, come into the get in my hole." It was really
whoa,
weird.
Whoa!
I mean, listen, I didn't make the movie. But then
Yeah.
on the other side of the kid was I already forgot the guy's name. What's his
Ben
name?
was the
Ben?
You
character's
forgot the main
name.
character's name.
That's literally how forgettable he was. The only thing I liked about him was the style. That man can dress.
he got drip.
He's got drip. He looked nice. I remember thinking at one point, I was like, I wish I could pull off that outfit because it looked really cool. But no, you've got the guy on the other side who's like, "Hey, it's okay if your dad's died. You can still live." And he's just doing the bare minimum effort as this kid is doing his hardest.
It
And
was the entire movie.
Who's this
just,
actor? Has he been in anything else?
Let's see. His
Has he
name
been
is
In anything else?
Lakeith Stanfield.
bad.
I know.
He was in Knives Out. He was
Okay.
Lieutenant Elliot,
I liked Knives Out. I don't remember him in that movie. The first one?
2019.
Huh.
He was in Selma.
Don't know.
as Jimmy Lee.
Yeah, that's the yeah.
hmm I don't see anything else that I really recognize. He was Guy in BoJack Horseman.
Okay.
I like BoJack Horseman. I do.
BoJack Horseman's
But
funny.
I like the idea that he was basically
Yeah.
a not named character.
Literally just Guy. So not
You all right?
much.
Watching you make faces at that water over there.
Yeah, not related to the movie at all. I hate spring water, and I didn't realize this was spring water, and I tasted it.
I'm
and
sorry. I'll have room temperature,
that's fine.
quality water for
the
you next time.
First few sips were cold enough. I didn't taste it was spring water, but now that it's warmed up a bit, got closer to room temperature, I sipped it that time, and I didn't mean to make a face. I'm sorry about that cold. Don't mean to scoff at your
You come
water.
in my house and then you ask for water. I offer you water.
Yeah.
When you have kidney stones and you drink nothing but water for 4 years, you get slightly more particular. You develop your favorites list becomes a little bit more of like a tier list. You kind of have to adhere to it a little bit. So you're fine. I used to not taste the difference between any water. I could drink out of a hose and be like, yeah, this is some gourmet stuff. But now that when you drink water for 4 years, it's like, okay, water does taste different. Sorry, did not mean to get off topic. Did not mean to scoff at your water, Cole. Thank you for the water.
That was that's more exciting stuff than the movie was.
Honestly, yeah.
Water tier list coming up.
So I put on here that I think Ben was the worst actor. Did you think someone phoned it in more than him?
I did not like the lady who played the medium.
Okay.
She was kind of the other way. She was doing so much that she was kind of overperforming.
Is it Tiffany Haddish? Is that her name?
Yeah. She's funny in other things.
Yeah.
She wasn't funny in this.
I think her and Owen Wilson's characters were maybe my favorites as far as characters go. I thought she was funny. Owen Wilson as the priest, I thought was really funny.
I thought his character was funny. I didn't think that his performance was great.
His performance was bad, but the character was funny.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't hate the character. I just felt like there was a few scenes, like whenever Ben was going in the attic, like her and Owen Wilson going back and forth, like, oh no, what's happening? It was like very fake. I was just like, oh my gosh. That's all I remember from most of the movie.
You know, this didn't have to be a theater release. This could have just been a Disney Plus. Just put it on Disney.
And that would have been okay, right? Like that would have been fine. It probably would have done better.
I'm glad we just paid $6 for tickets on a Tuesday.
Oh my gosh, yeah, with $6
I'm glad I
Tuesdays.
that gift card that I had.
I wasn't going to say that. I don't want other people swarming the theater on Tuesdays, but yeah, apparently $6 tickets is a thing, and we're going to have to go to all of our movies on a Tuesday now.
Yeah,
I've eaten like a king the last few times we went because I found out I had like over $100 in reward points.
You
so
just
it's
keep
like
getting a pizza every time.
Give
we
me
go
a
to the
pizza.
movies.
Last time I got a pizza, a pretzel. This time I tried an icy. For maybe the first time. It was pretty nice.
Yeah.
My problem with this is how bad the movie is that we don't even want to talk about. I don't even want to talk about the movie. That's how bad the movie is.
the cup was sweating.
Yeah, it's sweating.
No, not even that.
Oh.
The cup sweat was a problem. No, most blended iced drinks, I don't like them because the flavor all sinks to the bottom and then I just have ice at the top. So then I'm either drinking pure syrup at the bottom and then just have a cup of ice, or I have to like strategically drink from the top down in an effort to preserve flavor. With the icy, I didn't have that problem. I could just drink it and it was fine. So I appreciated it for that.
Yeah.
And you opened my eyes to mixing
cherry and the Coke.
Cherry and the Coke.
It's a cherry Coke slush.
And
it's great.
For the first time since like 2013, I craved a Coke the next day. The next day I was going about my day. It was hot. Gosh, it was like 100 degrees, not exaggerating, not even like joking. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I really want a cherry Coke icy right now. I was like, I'm just craving one. So
every time we go to the movies now.
Yeah, really. Yep. I've still got like $60 to spend.
You used to be able to get them at Target too, but then they took the cafe out.
Oh. Is there any so maybe we need to do like an icy tier list. Yeah. I'll keep going. I'll keep getting the ices, and maybe one of these days we'll make an icy tier list.
No, back to the movie.
Back to the movie. So sorry.
This is a movie review.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. I really don't.
It was really bad.
Let's talk about the ghosts, okay?
The CGI.
The CGI was bad, and then two, just the interaction with the ghosts was just bizarre.
I went back and I watched a clip of old Haunted Mansion just for curiosity's sake, and most of the CGI in that I thought was as good, if not a little bit better done than in this movie. Because back then, when the CGI wasn't perfect, you hid it in various ways. You had real practical effects cover up some of your CGI. It wasn't just a ghost on the screen.
Yeah.
And then in this movie, I felt like half the movie was actors. There was a couple times they were walking through the hallway, and I could so easily tell the hallway was a green screen. Like it just looked off, and then you throw in a couple ghosts and some spooky stuff. It just did not look good.
Or the terrible looking alligators.
Oh my gosh. They looked like what's the dancing singing guy on Netflix, the crocodile who sings. Lyle. Is that
Lyle
it?
the crocodile?
Lyle the crocodile.
Yeah.
The CGI in Lyle looked better than this movie.
It was not good.
Oh my gosh. It was really
My
bad.
gripe is that the design on the ghosts were really inconsistent. Some were like actual people, and some were just generic ghosts. You need to pick one or the other.
You had like a swamp thing at one point, which...
Yeah, like I'm fine if you wanted to commit to all generic ghosts. That's boring, but at least it's consistent. You can't have like some of them be actual people where you put detail. The other ones you phoned it in because you made this big deal like, oh, there's 999 ghosts. Like,
I feel like
pick one.
I feel like the first movie did the same thing. Like they had the butler and the maid that were like real people, real actors, and they just made them look like ghosts. And then they had maybe a couple more that were ghosts. And then the rest of them were just background characters because there's 999 of them.
They didn't have to give them as much screen time, though. They gave them a lot of screen time at the end, like these generic ghosts.
That's true.
Yeah.
The chasing scene.
I didn't mind the variety of ghosts, but what bothered me was we established early on that all the ghosts hate this guy, like the headless guy. They hate him. He's the worst. They're scared of him. And then in the last third of the movie, he has an army that are dedicated to him and want to help him trap them there forever.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a weird thing to want anyways.
Yeah.
Why does he want to be trapped there forever?
Yeah, I don't know. He's just an evil person. He has no motive. He's just evil.
He just wants to live forever in a mansion by himself.
They needed a villain, and that's what they thrown in. They just do stuff at a dartboard. Like, what's like generic horror or scary movie villain?
Yeah.
That's what we get. Headless top hat man.
Jared Leto.
Yeah. They're just weird.
It was
just weird in general.
It was just strange.
My other gripe with this movie is it's the same gripe I have with a movie that's actually good, Gremlins. What is considered after midnight? It's like the ghosts come out after midnight. Isn't everything after midnight?
You're not wrong.
Yeah. But like, you're right. Gremlins doesn't ever like teeter. It's like, okay, there's clearly a moment where like it doesn't matter. And like they show that in the film because only one Furby has to eat after midnight. And they did it like shortly after midnight. And then after that, it was never an issue. The Gremlins reproduced and what's his face? Gizmo didn't. Yeah. So like, unlike this movie where that was a moving plot.
It's like they bring it up so much. And then it's like, when they switch to after midnight, it's like, oh, it's at midnight. Like, okay, is it at or is it after? You need to pick one.
Well, it was like, I don't know. I didn't ever pick up on that.
Yeah, I heard them talk about the full moon.
Yeah, the full moon like enhanced Jared Leto's character's powers.
She does say at one point that after midnight, all the ghosts become more active.
That's when they first get there, and then they bring it up multiple times.
So maybe just when the sun comes up, they chill.
That's so stupid though. That's
I mean, they're not gone because you see ghost maneuvers.
They need to say like, oh, they could have just reword it like, oh, from midnight till you could even bring up sunrise.
Yeah,
the ghosts are more active. Just throw that in there, and you're all's forgiven.
There was a movie that came out forever ago. And it was
The Gremlins.
Yeah, that. And I can't remember the name of it. It was something Jupiter, I feel like, and
Drops of Jupiter.
Yeah, that decent song. But I felt like when I left that movie that like 30 different studios worked on it because like it felt like every scene was just a scene. They weren't connected. And then the last eighth of the movie, like the last 20 minutes, the guy just decides he needs to jump into space and fight Kraken gods from another universe. And it just made no sense. And I felt that way again about this movie.
Like bit, yeah.
Even the shot composition was weird. So a lot of the early part was like steady cam, cut back and forth. But then about early on, she's demonstrating in the hallway. She says, I feel a sharp pain in my sides. All of a sudden, we're doing shaky zooms and stuff like that. And then after that, we get to a lot of like the more shaky style. And then it kind of goes back and forth. And it just never had a feeling of steadiness to it. I never knew what the next scene, how their animation style or the shot style was going to be.
Also, they went back and forth with the dude's wife, Ben's wife that died. It was like, she's there, then she's not. She's not in the universe because she's passed on, but then at the end, she gives him a ghost blink. So it's like, where's she at?
I hate to give this like movie any sort of credibility, but like I understood the one time we saw her, I interpreted it as the jack-o'-lantern headless dude was manipulating Ben, making him see a vision of her.
Yeah.
And Tiffany Haddish's character said that they can send ghost winks from the other side.
Oh, did they?
She did say that. So that's what I said. I hate to give this movie any sort of credibility. However, she did say that.
Yeah. I do feel like they waited a long time between her story point. Like that was kind of his overarching plot. Was his grief of his wife. I felt like there was a long gaps between like bringing her up.
It was weird that like the whole cat thing was weird in general because like I think I wouldn't have minded the cat if at the end of the movie he had got home there was a cat on his porch and it was named Tater Tot. Cool, right? Like that's a ghost wink. But the movie starts with the cat on his porch trying to get in, and then we see it about halfway through. So it's like, are we just to assume that this cat is just sitting on this guy's porch
forever and ever
for like weeks and like just
he's been gone a while.
Just a weird plot point. Like just have the cat at the end.
Also,
like
how long were they gone?
I don't know. No one
How
knows.
long did this movie take place?
It's assumed to be a while. I mean, they also bring up what DeVito's character is. He's just Danny DeVito to me. I'm just gonna see if he's playing himself. He has like the heart problem. He has to get surgery next week. Josh, I think he stepped out for that part.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He had like a heart issue. He's like, I need to go to a heart surgeon next week. Like, okay, maybe you shouldn't go here because they know like you're gonna get trapped in here. And then he has the heart issue, so like maybe it's been a significant amount of time for him to be having heart attack in the middle of the.
It was less than a month.
Less than a month?
Less than a month
Okay.
because the sacrifice has to happen on a full moon.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it was implied that it was multiple weeks. They make a comment at one point, like saying like we've got days left.
Yeah.
So I think that it was somewhere around
Probably
a week and a half.
weeks.
Week and a half to 2 weeks was what I think.
Also, DeVito's character, he wants to go visit this mansion, like, and he's known about it, knows where it's located, it has all this information on it. Why didn't he just go there before?
Did he know where it was at?
He did know.
Because he made a comment at the hibachi bar about how he was going to follow them there.
I missed much.
He wrote a book on it, though.
DeVito.
You're right. He wrote a book
He
on
would have
it.
known about it. Like, just go to the mansion. There's nothing stopping you.
It was bizarre.
Hold up. Yeah. Hold up. Wait a minute. He had the blueprints and everything.
Yeah, he had everything. He had more detailed information on that than anyone else did, and he had never been there.
Gosh. I was, oh man, continuity. Oh boy.
Continuity's taking a dump right now.
It took a dump. It took a big old deuce.
My other issue with continuity was like when the ghosts torment you to come back and when they don't. Like
I was actually
Ben left and then like immediately started getting tormented by this whaler ghost to the point where he wanted to come back the next day. And then they leave like to go to the other mansion. They're gone for hours and it's like
Well,
the ghost
they were with him.
the ghost went with
was
them on
with
that
them,
one.
but like didn't. I don't know.
Maybe the
Weird.
ghosts are smart enough to understand that they're coming back.
I guess.
But brings me to my issue with that is the ghosts are scared of the headless guy and he wants to trap them there. And they want to maybe pass on, but he wants to trap them there. So why then do the ghosts, the good guy ghosts, who we later establish in the movie, haunt people and make them come back? Shouldn't they haunt people to scare them away? Why are they making them come back?
Ooh, you're right. Yeah, because you're just helping the.
I don't know.
We
headless
established
boy.
early on that like the knight is like kind of a somewhat good guy because it helps Ben hide from the headless dude, but yet like he was one of the ones that was haunting them at the beginning. So like why? It just makes zero sense.
There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely zero sense. More continuity. The ghost camera.
Yeah.
I have some problems with the ghost
Okay,
camera.
I want to hear about the ghost camera.
Bizarre plot point.
It's a weird plot point that serves no purpose to the plot other than to
You're right.
get him to the mansion.
Get him to the mansion and
like
connect him to his wife.
It's like a MacGuffin and within a MacGuffin. Like either way, but like so
At
he
least
has this camera and he, up to this point, with his wife, for years and years and years of researching ghosts, has never seen or encountered a single ghost. How do you even begin to develop that camera?
Ooh,
I don't know. He's just a smart
I could.
dude.
You know, I
guess.
could. I could do,
Like it's not like
I
they
could do your excuse that you made for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Last Wish. It's a kids movie. We can't think too much about it.
I mean, obviously you can't, but like, and I agree with you. That's a fair point. But like, he should have like maybe should they played it as he does believe in ghosts. Like he's seen a ghost before. That's why he wanted to make the camera for his wife. You know, that's how they developed it. And like the news and media took off saying that he found the ghost particle, which implies that the camera has worked at least once.
Yeah, you
But
would
then,
think.
but then later, when he accidentally takes a photo of the ghost, he's like, "Wow, it works."
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah,
Also,
it's getting lower and lower on the continuity.
the cheap and cheesy like ching.
Yeah,
You're talking about when he was taking the photos, like or like
No,
the camera.
like the camera itself. Like when it sent out the ghost particles, it was like ping. It reminded me of like a Christmas movie with Christmas magic.
yeah,
Like that was the noise. I was like, what?
It
in
was
the
weird.
world.
I don't get. Yeah, the camera served no purpose. Like they most of the time knew there was a ghost. Half the time the camera was there was just to show the invisible ghost. But then later the ghosts don't need to be invisible. They're just very clearly visible. And it's oh wait, hold on. They did make a comment how the things were merging. So maybe that's why the ghosts were visible.
Things
To-
are merging.
When the full moon was out, when the full moon was out, the guy who used to own the manor makes a comment about how the other side and this side were like closer together.
Okay.
So I'll give the movie a bit of credit there. But still, the camera's only purpose was to show the ghosts, which didn't need to happen. Just show the ghosts.
Yeah, weird camera thing, and then it breaks, and it's just like nobody's sad.
Yeah. They're like, oh,
That
it
happened.
would be more devastating if it like actually mattered.
Yeah.
And then-
You could have. I wouldn't have been mad if they rehashed how they got Eddie Murphy and his family to the haunted mansion. Just say he sells houses. I wouldn't have been upset about it.
I'm pretty sure at one point he had webcams, like security cameras set up that could see the ghosts. So what
He
was even the
did,
purpose of having like the giant, super one-of-a-kind lens that could see ghosts? If
You
could
know that there's ghosts in the house. They're not like you're trying to find the ghost Paranormal Activity style.
Yeah.
yeah, it made
It was no
no sense.
It
Absolutely.
was just weird because, like, yeah, you're talking about he's setting up these webcams and like security cameras, and they just buzz right past that.
Mm-hmm.
But then other things they just spend so much time on and beat it to death.
Also, got another continuity thing for you here. There's that spell that the Jamie Lee Curtis character, that crystal ball lady, says to the medium to, hey, do this and I'll come out and help you. Why didn't she start with that? Like, she waited till it was like the last minute, like you're about to loot, like he's about to get his
Yeah.
final kill. Like, you could have just opened with, hey, get me out of this crystal ball and we'll figure this thing out.
They did say that spell faded. So
I know,
maybe
but you
she-
could have just not had to go through all that stuff.
Yeah.
And she knew it was a spell. It wasn't like they just discovered it.
Well, but they didn't have the article of
The hat.
the thing from the
The hat.
guy. Also, the hat would have been gone in 2 seconds.
yeah,
in that
absolutely.
fire.
It burned for like 40 minutes. It felt
They
like.
showed like 3 shots of the hat in the fire,
Mm-hmm.
not on fire, and then all of a sudden on the 4th shot, it was like down to just one little shard.
I guess you just
It's
need a
just
little
like,
bit, but it
what?
should be gone.
Yeah, that was weird. I thought that they were gonna like burn the hat, but they were gonna find something else of his, like maybe his
Yeah.
lantern or something like that. I assumed they were gonna do something with it.
Also, for a museum that is dedicated to this guy, there is nothing historical about a lot of things in
Okay.
there.
How
the
c-
museum was actually kind of funny. Like,
is
is
that
that,
a
that real?
Nope.
Nope.
Why is it behind a case then?
that was kind of funny.
That
But
part was.
I was
was
like,
to
well,
that
how is there
point-
nothing in here?
The big bad ghost guy was like from a museum that was just like an hour drive away. Like, oh, we have all these ghosts from all around the world, and then like the big bad evil dude was just like conveniently down the street.
A
Like,
few hours away.
all movies have a level of convenience, so I'm not like super upset about it, but it just was weird how it wasn't like. I think the stakes would have been higher if they had found out he was like based on like another part of the country, and they were gonna have to take a couple days to get there and then deal with the ghost haunting them along the way on the road trip. That
would
might
have
have
been
been.
an even longer movie.
But
You're-
if
you're
you
asking
cut
for
out
3
so
hours?
much stuff that didn't need to be there, it wouldn't be.
True.
There's so many scenes they could have got rid of that would have been fine.
Cooking breakfast with the ghosts.
Yeah, while they were talking. And actually, that I think it was that scene that inspired me to write who even wrote this movie. Because that scene was so bad. And then
You
they
make
were
crunchy eggs just
they
like my grandma.
they were like my grandma, and they were making so many, there was like 4 egg puns in a row.
Oh, the egg.
and they were not
puns.
even funny.
And
None
then
of
he
them were
goes out and
funny.
he talks
So
to the
bad.
kid, and he
And
has
he-
like the worst
the worst
father-ish
sentimental
son
conversation.
yeah I've ever heard in my
Well, listen,
life.
he don't know.
And then they just sprint inside and they're hitting each other with the toys, and I was like, this is
This is a haunted mansion.
So
who
bad.
even wrote this movie? That was literally, I think, what inspired this line. I was like, this is so terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then yeah, like but it was campy and generic and it had so many bad puns all the way throughout the movie. And it's Disney, so I can't get upset about it being campy or having puns. But like, I feel like Disney's quality of writing is usually better than this. Not always.
Speaking of writing, off topic. Did you see they delayed Dune 2
No.
to 2024?
No.
March or April of
Tyler's
2024.
crush.
You know what? Hold on. I'm not actually, because I would always, no matter what, unless I find out one day I'm like terminally ill, I would always, and like I need to see it. I would always, no matter what, want them to delay something to make it better.
Yeah.
No matter what. If they have the money to do it, delay it, take your time, rewrite it, recut it, reshoot it.
Well,
do
it's
what you gotta
because
do.
of the strike, the writer's strike.
That makes sense. I mean, the movie's filmed, right?
I don't know. They said it was due to the strike.
If that movie was coming out in 2 months, it's filmed. Like, so maybe I had something to do with like the pay. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd be interested to look into that. But no, I would always rather them postpone a movie and make sure it's where it needs to be.
Yeah.
That's like Spider-Man has been delayed. Spider-Verse 2 has been delayed indefinitely.
Spider-Verse 3.
3. Yes.
Part
2 part 2.
If you If you want to check that episode out, and would rather not listen to us ramble about a really boring movie, go listen to that one.
Yeah,
Even
we're
if you already listened to it.
trying to do anything we can to not talk about this movie.
I mean, it was a freaking joke.
It really was, and like,
And not even a good joke.
Like, if it was so bad that it was good, I'd forgive it. If it was like Mithrigan level of like so bad it's good,
I don't know. I didn't enjoy Mithrigan either.
I didn't like Mithrigan. I didn't think Mithrigan was so bad it was good, but I thought Mithrigan had a few funny moments that if you like campy horror movies, it would be fine. Like,
this was not it.
Matt likes campy horror
Wow,
movies,
it
so
is
he
name
probably
drop.
would have like his first name. Yeah, I mean, I think that like he would have probably enjoyed Mithrigan if he saw it. I don't know if he would have, just for the sake of like he enjoys like older style like hack and slash stuff like that.
Yeah. Anyway, I have my picks with Mithrigan, but
It's got its own set of problems.
yeah.
I think this movie is worse than it continuity
Yeah.
wise.
Oh yeah. I didn't think
Yeah.
we'd ever see the day, but we
Well,
found it.
For continuity wise, I think acting and characters, it's worse.
Mithrigan is, or this one's worse?
This one is worse.
Oh, yeah, I
But
think
I don't
this
know
one's-
about continuity being worse than
Oh,
Mithrigan.
I think,
No, I think this one's worse actors and continuity than
Oh, really?
Mithrigan. Yeah.
I think
hands down.
overall movie, it's the worst movie.
I would, back to back, I would much rather watch Mithrigan than this
Yeah,
one.
it has some stupid moments.
And if
that
you haven't
just
listened to-
laugh at
If you haven't listened to that episode, go check that one out too.
Cole's just
from
going to
almost
look.
a year ago.
Yeah. That was one of our first ones,
It
actually.
was, yeah.
That wasn't early. It was early.
We're coming
this
up
year.
on a year.
We are.
I saw the other
Yeah.
day.
We got to
on
have a big
social.
celebration.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like another video one. Get
Yep.
our friend to edit it.
Maybe.
Yeah. So
Our friend, he's been
Okay.
on the podcast.
He's been on the podcast. Yeah.
Jonah.
Well, listen, I have no problem saying first names, but now Cole's got me being all self-conscious.
Well, no,
I don't want
Jonah's
to
been on
dox
the
our friends.
podcast. That's
I know, but I'm in my head now. I'm in my head about it. So it's like, what are we going to do? All right.
I've said all I can say, really.
I've said all there is to say.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good,
It's a shallow movie.
barely enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't watch it again.
No, absolutely not.
So let's go to the rubric, and then we were wanting to talk about our favorite live action Disney movies.
Oh, you want to do that on this episode? Or you want
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think,
I don't think it has a full episode. But yeah, so let's do the rubric.
Do you
and
know
then
this will
we'll
be
come back to that.
a part 1 of 2 kind of
Nah.
kind of situation?
Yeah, I'm with. Yeah, I don't know if we have enough on that. Maybe we do. Maybe we'll do it and then I'll cut it. We'll see, but I doubt it. Plot. I'm gonna do. Here's the problem, because most of my problems are with continuity and direction, but that all kind of leads into the plot. If you were to look at the plot on its own, it's bad. It's not abysmal. I'm gonna give it a 3. It's serviceable. It's fat around the edges. It needs trimmed down, but it's serviceable. I'm
Yeah.
gonna give plot a 3. What about you, Cole?
I'm also going to do a 3 for the same reason. I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, it's your basic plot if you when you take out all the continuity issues and the directions. I mean, it's not fair for me to nitpick the plot based on those two things because that's their own category.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. 3 as well. It wasn't terrible. It got the job done, but could be better.
So 3s across the board for plot. Cole, why don't you start us off with characters?
Oh boy, 2.
2.
Yeah,
Okay.
I liked Owen Wilson's character, and I liked DeVito's character. The kid was all right. That's about it. I mean, if the kid was, if there was one more like decent character, it would be up to a 3. But everything else was just so like horrible. Like I didn't care for any of these characters.
Yeah,
When we can't even remember the main character's name, I think we're in trouble.
it's true.
Yep.
Josh?
I'm a 2 as well. I didn't really care for any of the characters. Owen Wilson's character was funny. Performance was bad. But overall, yeah, just a 2. Bad.
I go back and forth between a 2 and a 3. I appreciate that the characters were at least all different.
Yeah.
Like they had a campy niche to fill that checked off like a box as far as tropes go. They just weren't well written. So do I put that in direction or characters? I'll put that on direction. I'm gonna give characters a 3. Be a little nice to it.
Generous.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Josh, what about you for direction?
I think I'm going to go 2 on direction. CGI was bad. Wasn't anything stunning visual wise. It was a boring movie. The writing was not good. Just overall, I think a 2.
Yeah, and I think I'm also a 2 on direction. And I'm sitting here. Normally, we like to talk about like the soundtrack at least a little bit. And I'm
I
sitting here.
Don't remember.
forgettable.
Anything.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't remember hearing music. I know it was there.
Yeah.
Like we're in New Orleans, like, and you
Yeah.
barely heard any real New Orleans like big brass band stuff. Like
Mhm.
very, very minimal of it. Yeah. So I'm a 2 on direction. Cole.
I'm torn on this one.
Yeah.
Between a 1 and a 2.
Yep. I'm gonna go 2 because I did laugh at the kid. Some of the humor did land. Not a lot of it. Most of it did not land. Most of it was very cringy.
Yeah.
But the stuff that did land was actually funny.
Okay.
If it didn't do that, then it would be getting a 1.
All right. I'll start us off for continuity. If this wasn't a kids movie, it would be a 1. It is a kids movie. I'm going to give it a 2. But that being said, even if I was a kid, I feel like I would be moderately confused by like just the sheer amount of just what is going on in this film.
Yeah.
Wow, you were very nice.
I mean, it is a kids movie. You said it earlier. That's what I said.
It
It's a
is.
valid criticism.
Well-
So I don't want to nitpick every little detail of it, but there's just a few things that
Well,
like the people in the writers' room just were not paying attention. They just didn't care.
If we're
They
not
didn't care.
if we're not here to nitpick, then what are we here for?
Here to nitpick. For me, you do the rubric however you got to do it. For me, I want to judge each movie based on what it is. And this is a kids movie. But that being said, like, you know, I would be way stricter about the continuity of like Dune when we go to see it, which is based on a book, which is like heavily sci-fi influence. You know, I'm going to be a lot stricter on the continuity of something like that than I will be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or a remake of Haunted Mansion.
Well,
Cole,
can,
what are you giving?
you can do
continuity?
that because I'm not going to be nice at all. It's
Giving
a
it a
1.
It
It
was
is
bad.
one of the worst. Like, don't know what the heck's going on. I'm an adult and I couldn't tell you what was going on in this movie. It felt like it was just all over the place.
Yeah.
It was just a mess, and a lot of things that were unexplained. Kids movie or not, do better.
It was
writers.
rough.
Yeah. I'm probably a 2. It is a kids movie. There were some fun moments, not a lot. But as far as continuity goes, yeah, 2.
All right. And maybe the most important category, which I've considered waiting at this point. Like,
yeah,
I think
you
maybe
say it every time. I think we need to wait this category.
I think when we hit a year, we should do season 2. Maybe we should rework the rubric. I think that would be good. So if you're
Okay.
listening to this, you have ideas for how to rework the rubric, we would love your suggestions.
Unless they suck.
Unless they suck. Yeah, that's true. Don't give bad suggestions. Josh, or sorry, no, Cole, you're first. Cole, how you feeling on that enjoyment category there? Should I go ahead and put a 1 in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
After, I mean, my gut reaction at first was like, it was fine. And after really thinking about it, I'm like, did I really enjoy that movie? Or am I just like, no, I probably enjoy that more than I did. No, I'm going to say I go 1.
1.
Even though I said like stream it, I'm like, it's streaming it with a bunch of things you have to do to actually like watch the movie, like have friends over, smoke something. I don't know.
Yeah. What was our buddy's pick? He picked Rock and Rule, and like after the movie, I was like, was there supposed to be like a joint included
Yeah.
with the DVD of this movie? Like, because I really felt like I was missing.
I mean, we
something.
did a more mock in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Josh, enjoyment.
I'm also a 1. I look back. We usually spend most of the time driving home, at least discussing the movie. I think we were done discussing the movie by the time we left the parking lot. Like, none of us had a real good time watching this film. So I'm a 1.
I am also a 1. Very rarely do I feel like I leave, because I love going to the movies. I just love the experience of it. Very rarely do I leave the theater and feel like I wasted my time and money.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I could have went and saw something different tonight. Like, very rarely do I feel that way. And this movie made me feel that way. So enjoyment for me, yeah, it's a 1. I will probably never rewatch this movie.
No, unless
Like-
it gets put in for a movie night pick and we're forced to.
If someone puts this in for a movie night pick, I may not come. Like, I may be sick that night.
Sorry, I can't be there.
Just a heads
got
up. Yeah,
COVID
I
that week.
might be sick that night.
Yeah.
Like it's on. I mean, no, it's just there's no reason to rewatch this movie.
No.
No reason. So, whew. Okay. All of that aside, we've got 3, 3, 2, 2, 1 for me. 3, 2, 2, 1, 1 for Cole. I'm making sure because on my phone, sometimes I fat finger things, and then 3, 2, 2, 2, 1 for Josh.
Consistent for me.
All right. This puts this movie at a 40%.
See, that's our lowest one.
I think that is our
That's
lowest
by
one.
far our lowest one.
Beating Suzume.
Looking at the IMDb, I scrolled past the Metacritic, and
The
it's
Metacritic.
Metacritic. It's 47. So we're pretty close.
Ooh, I just
Not good.
not good. No, not at all.
A good film.
It's one of those that I'm like, why'd they make this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're gonna recreate something,
The first one was decent.
the first one was decent.
It didn't tie back to the ride very much. Like this one definitely tied more to the ride,
Mhm.
but it was a decent movie.
Just if you're gonna remake something, if you're gonna dig it up, no pun intended, and like resurrect it, like it needs to be additive. It needs to build upon it and be better or different. This one was not different. It definitely wasn't better, and it just no reason to exist.
I would say it was different.
It was different.
But it wasn't different enough to make a difference.
I feel like the overall structure was the same. People are trapped in the house.
But how they get there, why
like
they're
a
there,
little bit.
that kind of thing, and the overall plot is just way different.
Mm.
The only similarity is that there's a house and a lady in a crystal ball.
I think when I
True.
think different, I think it needs to be like substantial, like the live action version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies versus like the animated version. Like they're
Yeah.
both TMNT, they both have the same story, but they're very different. They serve two different audiences with two different purposes. I guess that's where my version of it. There's probably a better word I could use there for it, but yeah, you're not wrong. Like I didn't think about it until you said it earlier, and I was trying to decide whether to bring it back up or not. Like the plot of the first one was to like try to get the mom to kill herself. The big penultimate plot of this one was to try to get a child to kill himself.
Well, it was like any willing soul.
You had to get
started
someone.
with Ben, then it went to the kid, then it went back to Ben.
On that note,
DeVito was possessed for a hot second, but then he just wasn't.
Yeah.
was the plot twist that the dad was dead a plot twist for anyone? Because
I assumed he was.
I thought he was dead based off some comments the mom made early in the movie. She made a comment how like his dad left or something like that, or like since his dad. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I assumed he's dead. And then when the kid said, "I'm talking to my dad," I instantly was like, his dad's dead. He's probably like talking to him on like a notebook or something. And I even thought it's not his dad because it's not his dad. I don't know why it turned into like a Brooklyn man there. It's not his
Not his
dad.
dad.
It's not his dad. Because they've hinted that the ghost is going to try to trick people. And I was like, okay, the ghost is going to try to trick the kid, like, and pretend to be his dad. And then when that happened, I was like, I saw this 40 minutes into this movie. Was anyone actually genuinely like kind of taken aback by that?
no.
I did not pick up on all of that, but I wasn't thinking about it either.
That's
Like,
fair.
I was focusing on how bad the performances were.
There's one
when the heck
person-
am I going to get out of
Yeah.
here?
There's one person in our life that
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought would have fallen for that.
Yeah.
That's your wife. And I was
Her
like,
jaw would be on the ground in that
I actually-
scene.
I wanted to look over. I almost did. Well, I love watching movies at your house with her because like whenever it gets, I love to look over at her reaction. And I was
Her
just,
jaw's usually on the floor.
I wanted to look over and just watch her be like, what? She's the only person I
mean,
know
the-
that would have genuinely like been like, no.
After the Green
Same
Goblin fiasco, I mean,
Yeah, you never know.
Oh man. Okay. So that's that movie. And then we had this idea. We review animated Disney movies, I think way more often than we talk about live action Disney movies. What were our favorite live action Disney movies? We determined what Cole it had to have the Disney logo on
yeah,
it.
I looked through. For me, I looked on Disney Plus because there's a ton of them. Some movies I forgot that Disney even put them out. If Disney put out the movie, so it has that little Disney logo on there, it counts.
It counts. Okay.
And I know for me, are we doing top 3 or top 5?
I put a top 3 with a couple honorable mentions.
Okay.
So however many you got, do a top 5.
I have
That's fine.
5.
Do your 5. Why don't you start with your first one?
I'm gonna start with my 5th one.
You're gonna start with the fifth.
I
We
wanna-
were working up.
I'm gonna work up to the number 1 spot.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go. My number 5 is Christopher Robin.
The new one.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good one.
I really like that movie.
I did really like
It was,
that.
it was a good one. It was a genuinely good one.
Josh, what was your lowest one?
I didn't put them in any sort of order.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll start while you think.
Oh,
about it.
also for mine, just disclaimer, one of mine are a part of like a trilogy. So I picked one from the trilogy instead of just loading it up with multiple movies from the same like series of movies.
Okay. I get that. And I'm probably the same boat on that. For mine, there was a lot I scrolled past. It's like, oh, I love that movie. But I figured for what we're talking about, there are multiple styles of a Disney movie. I wanted it to be something that has some form of like supernatural or magical element to it. So my number 5th in that category would be Freaky Friday.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is a good classic, old school, like
I remember liking. I
Supernatural.
like that movie a lot.
Yeah, like it was a good one. Josh,
I would say I'm just trying to look at my list here because I really didn't put them in order. I'd probably put I got Remember the Titans on here.
it's a good one.
Good movie, probably going to be lower on my list.
Yeah,
Really good.
that's all right. So Remember the Time. That was a good one. All right, Cole, what was your 4?
George of the Jungle.
Okay, the one that we watched.
Yeah,
for
the
a
Brendan
movie.
Fraser one.
Fraser.
It's so my first time, actually, my first time watching like this whole thing all the way through was at that movie night.
Same here. I watched
And
it as a kid, but I don't remember it.
I laughed so hard during that movie. I enjoyed everything about it.
It's
I'm
so
like,
dumb.
it
But
is such stupid humor that knows that it's stupid.
Yeah, it's good stupid.
Yeah.
It's good stupid.
Brendan Fraser's hilarious in it. Whoever the guy that plays Sandman in Spider-Man 3, he's like the villain in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He's really funny in it.
It was.
Yep.
So that's my number 4.
Josh, you have a.
You
You may not have 5. Do we need to skip you?
I've got 6 actually.
Oh wow, you
So-
you doubled.
So
When I came to you earlier, you only had 3, and now you've doubled your number.
I had a bunch of like
honorable mentions.
honorable mentions in my head, and I went through and
Yeah.
just wrote them down.
So what is your 4, 5, 6? You said 5. Somewhere on the lower list was Remember the Titans.
Somewhere in the lower list is Remember the Titans. I would say the Santa Claus is probably in my lower third or lower half,
Yeah.
and then probably George of the Jungle as well.
Okay. My number 4 was Enchanted. I know
Enchanted. Which one was that?
that's like Amy Adams. I'm pretty sure. Like girl comes from like other world to our world.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really liked Enchanted. And it's been a few years since I've seen it, but that was one of my favorite movies growing up. Live action favorite Disney movies growing up. So that's my number 4. Cool. What about your number 3?
For number 3, we're gonna have to steal the Declaration of Independence. It's National Treasure.
I forgot about National
That's
Treasure.
so good. It's a really good movie.
I scrolled through a list before this podcast, and I didn't even say I scrolled past. I've missed it.
There was 141 movies.
There's
on
a
this
lot
list.
True.
I
It was a
forgot
lot.
Disney put out as many movies. Like
Yeah.
that movie. I mean, that was one of the first. Like, it came out when we were younger, obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it was like I remember just even as a kid loving this movie because I liked Indiana Jones. This had an Indiana Jones vibe to
It's a
it.
good movie. It
Like,
holds up.
Nicolas Cage might be your best work.
It's some of it. Yeah.
Is that sad that might be his best work? And like, I actually don't disagree. That
Yeah.
might be his best acting.
The sidekick dude, he had some great humor in the whole
Yeah.
movie. It was just good.
You know, that may have to be a movie night pick one of these
The
times.
yeah.
the heisting was goofy enough that you're not going to criticize it, but also not so goofy that you're like, there's no way that would happen. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
a nice level of Disney goofy that still was
It's like
fun.
it's just like if Disney did Indiana Jones or like
Like a Mission Impossible.
the Mission Impossible,
Yeah.
the archaeology side of it, the Mummy, like that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, that's a good one. Josh.
Flubber.
Flubber.
Ooh, I love.
I'm
I actually
actually-
Flubber.
For some reason,
That's
I think
not a-
I'm getting Cole confused with someone else from my childhood. I had a friend who loved
Say-
Flubber, and I thought that was Cole.
I like the movie. It's an honorable mention of mine, but
No,
it's
I'm talking
cool.
about like I had a friend. I'm pretty sure I know who it was. Like Flubber was his life. He had like 2 Flubber posters in his bedroom. growing up. Like he
one was
loved.
too many.
He loved
Yeah.
Flubber.
I mean, I liked the movie. I wasn't.
I'm going to say his name, Isaiah. You're never going to listen to this. If you listen to this, man, that movie's okay. It doesn't deserve 2 Flubber posters. Josh?
Oh, I said mine.
Oh, you did.
He was
Is
Flubber.
it me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Number
Narnia.
3.
Narnia. Is
Narnia
Narnia
is-
Disney?
It's a good movie.
It
yeah,
is.
It is.
Yeah, like kind of the series as a whole. I'm upset they're remaking it, especially after Haunted Mansion. I'm really upset they're remaking it.
Yeah.
Let good things be good. Don't dig them up for
Yeah.
money. Disney, I'm looking at you. Amazon, I'm looking at you. Netflix and Hulu, I'm looking at you. Hollywood, I'm just looking at all of you guys. Stop
Yep.
digging up beloved franchises
Come up
and
with new
ruining them.
material.
Please, I'm begging you. Or if you're going to do it, do something substantially different for a purpose. Like if you have to do it, just can't keep your little grubby hands off of it. Make it worth my time. Narnia, that's my pick. Especially the first one, but the franchise as a whole is okay.
Okay. Number 2. This may be the newest movie
Oh,
out of everyone's. I don't know what you guys picked though. This was actually not in theaters. This was a Disney Plus original. Rise.
I didn't watch that.
It
I've not
is
seen
the
that.
story of basketball player Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
It's his life story, like pre-NBA.
I don't think I could say that name. Good
Yeah,
job.
he's from Greece. Yeah, really good movie. I watched it. Like I was not expecting it to be good, but I watched it. I was impressed. I'm like, good job, Disney. It's like a genuine, like good, like sports movie, but like just the movie as a whole, it's really good.
Yeah.
The story's really good.
I haven't watched that, but I will add that to my list to watch. Josh?
All right. I'm gonna go with Holes.
Holes was
Ooh.
a solid choice. I don't think we need to talk. Holes is a
No,
good movie.
I mean, it was.
This is what that
it's
heat that
overall
we
a
had this
good
week.
movie.
That was what they were digging out there in
Yeah.
Holes.
And I was actually just thinking, people still reference that movie.
Yeah.
Like I see Holes memes like once a week. Like people still talk about those characters in that story.
Mhm.
So that was
I remember liking the book when we read it in elementary school.
maybe one of Disney's best movies. Like not exaggerating. Like it's
a long-lasting movie, and
Yeah.
maybe it's because we watched it at such an impressionable age.
that's true.
But still,
Before
Very
You know
Shining.
good
what?
movie.
I watched a lot of movies at an impressionable age, and not all of them stick in my mind as much as Holes. Like
Yeah.
I've forgotten the plot of Step It Up, even though I've watched it 30. Yeah, Anyone from West Frankfurt, or we had an English teacher.
Seventh grade English.
I was gonna say I hope she doesn't listen to this, but I don't care.
She might.
Yeah.
If she's listening to this, I'm not gonna. They
know-
made us watch this movie. Was it Step Up? Was
Step
that?
Up.
No, I said
Yeah.
Step It Up. I think that was a sequel. Step Up. We watched it like 30 times, not exaggerating. Oh, barely exaggerating within a semester, and like it got to a point where we were having to quote the movie for grades. And you're laughing because you know I'm right. I'm not even
She'd
joking.
give you a script, and
I
like
didn't have her.
and-
Really?
She had broken her leg my entire 7th, 8th grade year
Oh.
or something like that.
Well, Cole and I were literally handed scripts and had to recreate scenes from this.
I remember
Yeah, no. I made a very.
you made a pretty racist joke. That
I
made us
wasn't
canceled.
racist. I said I wanted to be for a scene. I'll
No,
say it. I
dude-
said I wanted to be the little black boy.
No,
I
that-
didn't realize that was offensive at
No,
the time.
no, I'm gonna
7th
say
grade Tyler.
young.
Was
no. I'm gonna
racist.
say exactly how you said it. Me be little black boy to
That's
the
not sound
teacher's
great.
face. She growled,
Goodness.
she like growled at you. She glared at you. May growled
Yeah.
at you. I don't know.
Listen, I was dumb. I didn't realize what racism was at that point.
Yeah, now we're getting canceled in 2023.
Yeah. Please don't. I didn't know. Alrighty. My number 2 is Santa Claus.
Nice.
Actually, so you said that when I was like, oh. So, alrighty. We don't need to talk about it. It's a good movie.
yeah.
Maybe Tim Allen's best work.
If you want to hear more about that, go listen to our Christmas movie tier list, where we
Santa Claus 2 might be better than Santa Claus 1.
according to our tier
I
list.
put the Santa Claus on my list and not Santa Claus 2.
I will give you that. I think that
But it
I
is-
was including it as a franchise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think the second one's better.
I would do.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay,
Round us out.
number 1. This is the one that's part of the trilogy that I was referring to.
D2.
It's mainly the first.
It's
Okay.
what?
Come on, Josh. Don't even let me say my own movie.
What is it?
Sorry, Cole.
D2, Mighty
Oh.
Ducks 2.
Oh, Mighty
bad.
Ducks. I'm gonna be honest.
That was a jerk move.
I don't know if I remember or have seen enough of the Mighty Ducks to remember it.
Oh, it's so good. Like Mighty Ducks 1 is a classic. I love that one. Watched that movie a lot. Then when D2 happened, or when I saw D2, because obviously it came out before I was born. That movie just did everything that the Mighty Ducks 1 did and did it better. Like just ramped it up. So, and it was the Olympics. It's basically like, if you've seen Miracle, which is another live action Disney
Mhm.
movie, they did that but with the Mighty Ducks. Except instead of playing Russia, they play Iceland.
Okay. I need to watch the Mighty Ducks. I've heard that's
That-
a great movie from
Oh.
multiple people.
Yeah. D1 and D2 are good. D3, it's okay.
Do you want to try to predict Josh's?
I don't know what he's said so far.
He's
Cool.
only seen like 12 of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it can't be that hard to narrow it down.
This one's going to come out of left field, so you can try to guess.
Is it a baseball movie?
It's not.
Okay.
The Rookie.
It's not.
Angels in the Outfield. Is that Disney?
That may be Disney.
He said it's not a sports
know that
movie.
it
Hold on.
is.
We got to get off the sports thing. Hold
Cool Runnings. So
Nope.
Dogs.
on. Prancer.
Not a Disney movie, I don't think.
That's
but
one, yeah. That's,
And I think it's animated too,
And-
isn't it?
no.
no, it's live action.
Oh, it's a live.
Live action.
Oh, yeah, it is. What am I getting mixed up with? I don't know. Either way, continue.
First, I want to say I'm sorry, Cole.
Okay.
It was a jerk move to
Yeah.
step on your airtime. My bad.
Yeah.
But my number 1 is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
Watched it a lot as a kid.
What about Honey, I
Um,
Blew Up the Kids? Do you like that
I
one?
didn't watch any of the sequels.
Yeah. I don't think they're as good. Yeah.
But first one, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Probably my favorite.
Solid choice. That one almost made my cut. My top one. Anyone want to guess mine?
I'm trying to think what you like. 'Cause that would be Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings almost made the list. I commented on that one earlier, but then I said I wanted it to have like a fantastical, mystical
Yeah.
element to it, to be like within the same style ish of Haunted Mansion.
Is it the live action Beauty and the Beast?
Absolutely not. No, I don't like any of the live action remakes of the animated movies.
See, Dumbo was the only good one out of those.
See, I feel like Beauty and the Beast wasn't bad.
It was not terrible, but I don't think it. Once again, why?
Yeah.
The original's there. It's great. The new one added no new material other than one song for Beast, which, in my opinion, still doesn't add anything substantive to that story. So, why do it? Just for money. And I don't like it when people do things just for money. So, no. Any other guesses?
I don't know what it would be.
I don't either.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
As a trilogy.
We talked about that
earlier.
earlier.
Yeah. Like, I think that the first two are like S tier movies. They're very, very hard to beat, and they hold up very, very well.
Yeah, second one's really good.
Second one's phenomenal.
Love the second one.
They're all good. Like
Yeah.
the newest ones are just okay. Like
the
after
quality dipped after 2.
yeah, like the fourth one, and I think there was a fifth one.
I want to say there was.
Honestly, I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know if I've even seen or seen enough of them to remember them that well. I need to rewatch them to have an opinion on them. I don't remember liking them, but the first 3, that trilogy, awesome. I remember being hyped for the video game when it was coming out, being hyped to like go see this finale of the third movie in theaters. That was a good old time. So Pirates of the Caribbean.
Nice.
Top one.
Look at quality lists around here.
Quality list. Yeah, it was, and then Flubber, Flubber was okay. I didn't like Flubber as a kid. I think I hold a grudge.
Yeah.
I also hold a grudge.
Seen it in a long time. It may not hold up.
I've seen it somewhat recently.
I think I hold an extra grudge against this guy because like we would always, his mom would always take us to Robax. So it was like a VHS movie rental place back then, kind of like a Blockbuster, local one. And we would always rent movies, and it didn't matter what movie had come out. This guy would always rent Flubber, and then he'd be like, "It's my house," and we'd always watch Flubber. Like every time I was over there. And I think it just made me despise the movie a little bit because it's like, listen, I want to watch the new Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie. I got that right here on VHS. And he's like, "No, bro, we're watching Flubber."
It's good. Yeah. It ain't that good though.
It's all right. And I'm sure maybe I need to rewatch it with new eyes, as an adult. Maybe we'll.
Maybe it'll be a movie night pick.
Maybe you should put that in.
Maybe I will.
Maybe I'll put in Step Up.
I'll just continue my theme with 90s movies. I've got Jurassic Park going now. And
it's true. I forgot what Jurassic Park.
May do National Treasure. Got to revisit that.
Yeah. What are we watching Sunday? My movie, Mad Max.
Mad
if I'm
Max
there,
Fury
I
Road.
don't think I'm going to be there.
I know that we're having it.
I don't think I'm going to be there. Yeah, because my wife has Rona. So
my wife's out of town.
Well, yeah. So maybe we'll get together and rewatch Dunes. You can understand the plot a little bit better on the second viewing. Gran Turismo came out today. Obviously, we're not going to go see it. I'd like to go see that very soon. What else is on the docket? What's coming out?
We talked about it last time.
That Voyage of the Dementors out.
I thought that did not look good, but if you want to go see it, I'll go see it.
I'm just on. You asked me what's coming out.
That's all right. No, I thought that looked rough to say, but if you want to go see it, we can go see it. I think Gran Turismo might be the only thing that's on our radar, and then we might have to revisit some older ones because with the strike, as we mentioned, the Marvels. There's the Marvels.
That's in November though.
Yeah, but like after they're pushing back Dune, after Gran Turismo,
you got The Exorcist 2,
the Marvels. Yeah, Exorcist. There's really not a whole lot of things coming out soon. What did we see a trailer for actually when we saw this one? I said, "Wow, that's soon for that movie."
That cool paper looking one.
Yeah, it was a Disney
Miracle.
One. Yeah, Wish.
Yeah.
That was
Miracle already happened. Josh.
That was the first time I had heard of that movie, and then they were like, "Yeah, it comes out in like a month," and I was like, "Oh, okay,
see whatever that stupid duck movie is gonna be."
Yeah, that one looked decent. I know my wife's gonna want to go see that one. I know your wife's gonna want to go see that one. Cole, you should bring a girl, just any girl. Find one.
I could think of many other things I would rather do than go see that duck movie.
It looks okay.
I stay here and watch the Mighty Ducks.
I thought it looked all right.
Good one.
You know what? I have a little bit more respect for Illumination after the Mario movie. And then I always forget they made Despicable Me, and that's a great movie.
And then they milked it to death.
Then they milked it to death.
Still are.
It's literally the Minions singing the Illumination is their logo. It's like their opening for their movies.
Strays came out August 18th.
Strays looked good too. Yeah, is that still in theaters?
I would assume so. It just came out the 18th.
I think because there's not a lot of stuff coming out, things are staying in theaters longer. I saw the Barbie officially passed up the Mario movie for the highest grossing movie this year.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
We didn't even see
it. We didn't see it. I liked
it's
it.
Just
I liked it.
I like the Mario movie though.
I'll say it. I liked the Barbie movie.
You saw it?
I did. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Nice.
It definitely is heavy-handed. Like there's no denying it. But the message it's being heavy-handed about isn't a bad message. And I would not say if anyone is like it's just all about putting down and trash talking men, I would say that is not the core message. And there was actually a few moments in there where I felt like it was kind of calling out how, and maybe this was just me as a dude. So if you're a woman and you were like, wow, that's such a man take. Yeah, I'm a man. There's a couple scenes where Ken is not appreciated, and that's what causes him to develop a toxic masculinity later on in the movie. But they kind of implied that maybe if the men had been appreciated, that maybe they wouldn't be toxic as much. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just like, it wasn't terrible. I thought it was a good movie. So either way, wow. Off topic. Thank you for listening to this episode as we
been a Haunted Mansion
talked
review,
about anything but haunted.
a top 5 live action, a Barbie review in there,
We tried-
Holes at a review,
Literally trying to not talk about the movie as much as possible.
talked about water.
Josh's brother, if you're listening to this, how dare you?
Yeah. We ain't listening to you again.
But you at least gave us a good episode, I feel like, so I
Yeah.
can't stay mad at you. Alrighty. Hey, thank you for tuning in and listening. We hope to catch you on the next one. And if you liked this, go back and check out some of our older ones and recommend us to your friends. Have a good day.